Hi, Pisces. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for November of 2022. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
I'm Julia Mijas in San Francisco, California.
Hey, Pisces. This month's horoscope is about your career. If you'd like more insight into your work life, you can find it in a mission orders reading. You'll find a link for that in the text that comes with this video. Well, you may have noticed Juno retrograde for several months, but it is blessedly over. So if you're just tuning in now to our channel, Juno has been retrograde in your first house in Pisces for several months since July. It's probably been really rough on your relationships, and you've probably felt like many things that have transpired in the course of your relationships since July are quite personal. And it's not time to talk about that anymore because Juno is direct, woot. And but where you can find out all about it is in our playlists on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology, our playlists for July, September, and October of 2022. Look there to find videos about Juno and Juno retrograde. And that should be pretty important to do. So I want to tell you about Ceres, which is in the sign of Virgo and therefore in your seventh house all month. Ceres will probably show up in terms of people appearing in your view screen that are trying to get you to be a little bit more organized and together, or maybe a lot more organized and together, Pisces. So this would be a really good month, for example, for a meeting with your bookkeeper, for a meeting with anybody who helps you to be more organized, and forming a partnership, even a short-term partnership with somebody who can help you get more organized would be a really great use of this series this month. It's going to be there all month in your seventh house of partnership. Now, Jupiter starts the month retrograde and in Pisces, your sign. Jupiter's been traveling back and forth between Pisces and Aries all year. It's retrograded back into your first house. And so that might be feeling pretty good, especially if you were born really towards the tail end of Pisces. You might find that you have a bit of a glow around you right now. And if that's the case, you should absolutely use it and take advantage of that. But not in too big of a way, or you'll put people off. So enjoy Jupiter at the very end of its sojourn in Pisces. It will continue retrograde in Pisces this month until November 28th, when it goes direct. And at that point, things should be even better in terms of your own personal charisma. So definitely use that. And Jupiter will move on out of Pisces next month and into Aries in the month after that. So, but right now, I want to draw your attention to this little guy, Mars, which is going retrograde this month, actually starts the month retrograde, and Julia is going to tell you all about it.
Well, they're Pisces. Mars, the planet of action and activity, is doing this retrograde cycle in your fourth house. Now, the fourth house is the house of family and home. And any planet that's retrograde, it's usually a time of having to redo whatever that planet signifies, or maybe even review the actions of that planet, in particular Mars. And since this is happening in your fourth house, if you are in any way getting out activity in your home. Let's say you're trying to organize a bunch of things, paint some rooms, get some construction done. You might have to go back over it again. Now, this is also happening in the sign of Gemini, which does rule our communication style. So there's also a possibility that you might have to go back over or redo some of your communications with the people you live with, which are ruled by the fourth house, or even family members. Now, the fourth house also represents your past, the things that happened to you a long time ago. And when Mars is in the fourth, it can be a time of getting itchy and irritated by past stuff. So you might have to go back over some of your past actions again, and straighten things out too. Now, also, we've got some Mercury action this month. Mercury starts the month in your 9th house. This is a travel house. It also represents education and learning. Mercury is a planet that also likes to travel and learn a lot too. So this could be an interesting time to plan a new trip, plan going back to school. If you are in school, you could be learning a lot more now, which is really cool. And on November 8th, Mercury will directly conjoin the sun. This is a very important date to keep track of because we call it Greater Epiphany Day. It's a time of insights and revelations. So happening in your 9th house, you might have some aha moments about maybe a legal matter in your life, which is ruled by the 9th, maybe about school too. Maybe you're thinking, oh, I should go back to school, or, oh, maybe I don't need to go back to school, for example. And if you're in school, then there might be some great insights happening around your learning. So that's very cool. And then on November 17th, Mercury enters your 10th house. Now, the 10th house is a very public house. It represents your career. It represents authority figures. It represents your reputation too. So this is a wonderful transit if you have to do any public speaking, being known for your words, so to speak. Public speaking can happen in a classroom, or it could happen on social media as well. You might notice there's more communication with the authority figures in your life, whether they're your boss or whether they're your parents or teachers, for example. And it can be a good time if you do any sort of writing, speaking, sales, at work, or travel for work as well. And then finally, I always like to say a few things about Venus. She is the planet of relationships, so a very good one to keep track of. And she starts in your 9th house at the beginning of the month. Again, this is a house of education. This is a house of travel. If you're single, you might meet somebody through school or maybe on a trip that you're going on. And Venus in the 9th, if you're attached, might mean that you want to have a shared adventure with somebody, that you're dating. Maybe try something new together, learn something expansive together. If you go to church, this can be a wonderful time because the 9th house rules religion, to really enjoy your church, temple, ashrams community. And then on November 15th, Venus enters your 10th house, right a little bit right before Mercury. And again, when Venus goes into the 10th house, that house of career, that house of public reputation, really, really good for your reputation now. If you do anything in the public eye this month, especially second half of the month with Mercury and Venus in your 10th, it should go pretty nicely for you. Venus in the 10th is also a great time for getting along well with the people you work with, for kissing up to your boss if you need to, which is also ruled by the 10th. And if you're in a relationship, you might want to make the relationship more public in some way. Maybe announce to other people that you guys are dating, or that you're getting further committed, or introducing your partner to work colleagues, for example.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to take a look at the moons. We have a really important full moon, which is also an eclipse, and it's happening on November 8th. We have the moon here in Taurus in your 3rd house, opposed the sun in Scorpio in your 9th house. This is a really complex moon, and eclipses do tend to be intense, especially lunar eclipses. They can be very emotionally intense. And with Uranus being a part of this, and this moon landing in your 3rd house, I think it's a really important idea that you watch out for over emotional communications, and that you might find yourself being something of a disruptor in how you communicate. And you might find yourself disrupting other people's beliefs, for example, because the sun and Mercury and Venus are over here in the 9th house of beliefs and faith and assumptions. And this 3rd house is a house of ideas and logic. And so there's a big argument going on here between these two houses. This moon, like I said, it's really complex, and eclipses are always to be watched out for. So beware of unexpected electric surges of emotion, and watch what you say because of them. Then the next thing that happens actually in the course of the month is that the sun, which has been traveling along here through Scorpio like that, is going to finish out the 9th house and pop on over into the 10th house right here. It's a change in seasons. Scorpio is a dark season. The light is going away, and it's getting darker. It's the season when Halloween happens. But it's also a season of passion. And that's something that you experience a lot in your religious life, in your life of faith. And so while Scorpio was going on, there might have been a lot of spotlight on that. But as the sun moves on into the 10th house, your attention should come to your career, to your public image, your reputation, and your place of business. So wherever the sun is, we want to shine the sunlight of our high quality attention so that things can thrive, because what you pay attention to can grow and expand. And when the sun is in the 10th house, absolutely career is a thing that you want to pay high quality attention to, because wonderful things can happen when you do. Now, this is followed by, or I should even say supported by, a really wonderful moon, which happens very shortly after the sun enters into this house. So here you can see the moon is at the end of Scorpio. It's very, very close to this sun in Sagittarius, and it's actually like right there, and boom, there it is. The sun and the moon together in your 10th house, a new moon signifying rebirth and new beginnings, and this one with such an ebullient, bouncy, fun-loving, and bubbly feel to it. And that comes from it being in Sagittarius, but also in a trine with Jupiter, and a grand trine actually with Pallas Athena. The only fly in the ointment is a square to Vesta. We're calling this moon the wisdom of foolish hope. It's not, this moon is not very good for focusing, but it is very good for raising hopes that are probably unrealistic inherently, but by overshooting for them, by pouring wonderful, good-hearted emotion into them, you can actually bring them closer to coming into being, to actually manifesting. This is a great moon for manifestation practices. And because it lands in your 10th house, you would definitely want to pour the positive energy of this moon into your career. Maybe even make a change in your career for the better. Well, that's what we have for you today, Pisces. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. You can visit our Pandora Astrology YouTube channel to do that, and find the November news playlist there, because that is where you'll find out more about Mars retrograde and how it feels and its timing, along with these moons, including the eclipse. And you can find us at pandoraastrology.com, where there are classes and readings and the monthly forecast. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.